In the vast ocean of games, there is a single deep basin boasting thousands of fan-made tiles under a single franchise. It's a scary world out there, with viruses and rats lurking under every link. That doesn't matter to me though, and I played a ton of them. Here's a bunch. This is not a Pokemon game. Welcome to PokeEmblem, the Fire Emblem ROM hack where Pokemon is forced in. I've never played Fire Emblem, so I'm not wasting any time. I pick a name, pick a sprite, and I'm sent straight into the lab. Gary and Ogre talking trash about me, but never mind that. We get straight to our starter. And this UI is interesting. Pretty much the same stat stuff. And I start with a Squirtle. But for some reason, he takes the other two. But right now is where the real game begins. The battling is nothing like Pokemon. In Fire Emblem, you go straight to him. Your attacks are range-based, so I gotta send Squirtle a little closer. After smiting down his Sly Lizard, I get a water gun. And for some reason, a Pikachu comes down, landing a flying punch. Gary was no problem. We get to our first stop. Pallet Town. Not really too much to do here. You can't go inside houses. In your house, you save, and in Gary's house, there's a scribbled up map. We go forth, and the game teaches us how to catch, giving us free Pokeballs. Basically, you beat them up until the last second, and then when you choose capture, you faint them anyway, and they stay in your ball. I walked over to this guy, who usually gives you a potion, but he wanted to battle. He only had the one rat though, so it wasn't too much of a problem. He did bite down my monkey. I don't know where he is now, but Squirrel dealt with the rest. I don't know where fainted Pokemon go, but we just go on. Also having to fight this bug boy along the way. We're a bit over leveled though, so the solo Squirrel is more than enough. It kind of sucks having to walk around though. There's so many things to fight. For all these wild Pokemon, it's on site. We capture a couple more. By the end of the route, we got quite the team together. Where we enter Viridian City. There's not much to do here, but there is this guy selling a Psyduck. We buy it, because why not? It's at the Poke Center that I find my fainted Pokemon. I don't really understand how to use items, so I gotta rely on this. Square away with my squad, and we move forward. There was also a market where I bought this jelly donut, but in front of us, we did find Gary, clearly ready to fight again, and we set up our team beforehand. He was very confident, but as you can expect, very free. Nothing can stop us. We got to the forest, where there are so many Pokemon to fight. Even if they're low level, they just start to dogpile on you. Can't really do anything about it. My herd was getting thinned, but we pressed on, avoiding what we could, beating up who we had to, and capturing what we needed when we could. We got to the final stretch. This guy was running and hiding in a corner. Thought that would set the tone for the rest of these fights, but there was a great wall stopping me. Not only was there a trainer, there's like 3 or 4 wild Pokemon blocking me, and my Squirtle was so low. But this Kakuna came from nowhere and took me out. I have no idea why he did that. He wasn't even in the fight. We were able to convert this Pikachu, but even then, we had to stick with the Psyduck. One by one, we were taken out, and we experienced our first loss. But it's okay. I would say I did a good spot. We were able to rethink our strategy, and the duck did it. We pressed forward to Route 2, and immediately into Pewter City. We're here. We healed up again, looked around for a little bit, but more importantly, faced Brock. Talking about how much he loves rock Pokemon and to ignore his other ones, especially Vulpix. He likes her the most. But never mind that. We set up for the fight. And the double water worked so well. After a while, we forced his Onix into a corner. I don't know why he was hiding for a while. We just took out the rest of his team and piled on top when we had the opening. Easily, we were bestowed the Boulder Badge, defeating the Pewter City Gym. My first step at PokeEmblem Mastery. But for now, that's it. PokeEmblem. Pokemon, but you're the champion. Welcome to Retired Champion, the game where you live a life of opulence and luxury. The #1 trainer throughout the world, defeating all of the Elite Fours. And you've got enough money to invest in your own island. You start off by picking your home region. I chose Johto and stuck with the Sonic. But pretty much you have this entire island to yourself. A place where people all over the world can train and have the privilege of challenging you. You have access to every Pokemon you can think of. There are different tiers of fights. And with this computer, I can choose which one I want to do. But they're not normal, like A, B, or C. It's like baby, monkey, frogs. I go with a surprise request, and our first fight were some cats. There are a lot of options of what I can do here. Not only is it limited to the type of tier you chose, but you have so much freedom on what you can put on your Pokemon. Dynamaxing, Mega Stones, Z-Stones, all the moves you can think of. One by one, we got our cat team together. But when I went to go challenge my guy, my game crashed. It's okay, because this time I'm from the Galar region. I got my trusty bunny, and we were hit with a fossil challenge, and he requested a triples fight. I learned my lesson, and just gave my team a quick randomize, and made my way to find my challenger. Obviously, he's not free of any fossils either, but we got the edge, the Mega Aerodactyl and the Z-Stone Omastar. One by one, they were picked apart. Smacked out my bird, but other than that, he was not a problem. As we challenge more trainers, more of this island's lore comes to light. The Pokemon that we have aren't actually Pokemon at all. They're all just Poygons, but transform. That's why we're able to mess with them so much and so easily. But I forget that. Do another surprise request. And now we're facing the Frogs. Again, I do a couple quick randomizations. I go straight to the forest, where this time it's a singles fight. There's not a huge frog selection, so there's a bit of overlap. My Dynamax Toad held his own for a while, but quickly was put down. His Venusaur took down most of my team, but in the end, it was my Poliwrath who showed this Birdman how it was done. And it was at this point in the game where Nurse Joy was actually waiting for me. Instead of handing me a fight, she wanted to teach me a new battle mechanic. It's called Assistance. It's a hold item, just like a Z-Stone. And when you have it, you can tag someone in, and they can do a quick move right before or after yours. Similar to some fighting games, like Marvel vs. Capcom. Pretty cool mechanic, and we're sure to use it in our next fight, where we requested a full cat squadron. Again, there aren't a ton of options, Pokemons, and they were just mostly Eevees. But I didn't mind, and the party was mine. Quickly found our challenger, and faced another triples battle. Held our own for a while, but right away wanted to whip out the assistants. And on top of that, I had U-turn, so I could switch off it. Not only was I able to get Vaporeon out, and Incineroar was able to get a quick smash in. Still though, I was a little worried. I lost my Leafeon. It got a little close, but one by one, we picked him apart. I love that assistance mechanic. Unfortunately, our boy fainted right away, but in any other case, we're able to use it every 3 turns. I was setting up again, because we requested a Mega Monkey fight. I made my way back to the forest, but again, my game crashed. Unfortunate for now, but I will not give up. And that's it. Pokemon retired champion. Pokemon, but you own your own island. Welcome to Pokemon Island, the game where you're a multi-billionaire and the infrastructure around you depends on your income. There's no gym leader, no underlying story or anything. You're some crazy rich guy looking to make a fun place for your friends. So it gets me going, and right away we can choose our sprite. We have so many choices. I get this guy with a hat, and we're sent to our starters. And it's every Pokemon from Gen 1 to Gen 9. I don't really use these newer guys, so I got the Fuemococo. But after, we get interrupted by a rival. But frankly, she's not that important, because in the center of this island is his main Coliseum. This is where our main money comes from. We ship in trainers and challengers all over the world, all to be beaten up and battled by you. Once you get more money, you can buy more buildings, but first we have to fight our rival. And she totally didn't beat me up on the first try, but it's okay. We bought a heal from this tent over here. And now that that's done, the game has truly begun. There's not a lot, but there's other buildings like a big hotel and this Poke Center. Some houses where people live at. There's also this teleporter. This takes us outside the island into the wild areas, where we can train some more and fight other trainers on the side. Right now we only have this beach, but I did manage to wrangle up a Wiglet. Not too bad. With our new team, we get to the first Coliseum, which I'm sure you can imagine was more than free. The levels go up in tiers. You have to beat 4 battles to win a match. But after you do, more stuff is available to upgrade. So not only do you have to make money to spend it on the places around you, you can only unlock it after you reach a certain rank. And after we clear these first few, we unlock the town hall, where here I can really spend my money. We go first for the rarity shop. And after a second, it's build. Now I can buy stuff like EXP share or launcher, which is a tool to surf with. But I clearly don't have the money, so we go back to the Coliseum. And although everything is really early level, the EXP gain in this game is so slow. So rising these ranks weren't as easy as I thought. We actually lost. I went out to the wild and trained again, where we unlocked this cave. It was kind of cool. Just ran around for a while beating up people. Picked up a Ferris seat as well. Also ran around this unlocked forest and got a Mareep. We circled back to the Coliseum and managed to get winning again. Evolved our starter and bought this Pokemon fan club. Now the president is giving me direct orders and challenging me for these quests. And if I complete at least 3 of them, he gives me money. But if I complete more than what he asked for, it gives me a bonus. We get straight back to work, clearing the Coliseum and starting off some of these quests, like being a trainer, walking around for a while. But after we do our 5, he gives us his prize. And he gives us a choice of a Pokemon egg afterwards. I kind of ignore it and just take the money. Coliseum was begging to be beaten, so I ran it back again. And after a while, unlocked a lot more stuff. Got this doubles Coliseum, bought my market man a proper home, and I made a storefront for this lady who sells Pokemon. Somewhat illegal, but I guess it's allowed. And after a while, we purchased the Peak. We've uncovered a casino. We're here. They've got stuff like slots, this makeshift roulette, and my worst enemy, Voltorb flip. I'm never able to win these. We did win 1 roulette though, and with my jackpot winnings, we got even more. Like this berry farm and a restaurant. The berries give you berries, but when you take it to the restaurant, they give you berry juice. He says he charged you $10, but he charged you $50. Tipping culture is crazy. We also unlocked this card area with this guy playing a weird game. I don't really understand what's going on, and we lose every time. There's a lot more buildings to buy, but for now, that's it. Pokemon Island. Imagine if you were a mad professor making your own Pokemon. Welcome to Pokemon Terrarium, the only Pokemon game where you as a professor and your fellow scientists do insane experiments, like harnessing the power of the elements in the seasons to make your own living homunculus. Start off right away with our boss, pick our sprite, pick a name, and we're sent straight into the lab. We get a quick tour where the magic happens. We put the thing in this thing, and then we put the other thing in the other thing, and then the thing comes out. It's basically what she says, but I have no idea what he's talking about. Basically, we have these massive buildings of active terrariums, concealing each environment that we want to unlock the secret of every season. And right away, we get sent on a mission to gather the elemental essence. Got this blue Porygon on the side too. After checking out the main area a little bit, just went straight forward. The autumn terrarium was rainy. The summer terrarium was really hot and sunny. The winter terrarium was snowy. There was a bear outside. He beat me up. The spring terrarium is just right. I walked around a little bit and quickly found the grass core. Exactly what I needed. We keep moving forward. We're ahead. We spotted the essence of spring. There was no problem in the autumn area after a little walking around. The fire core ended up being deep in this cave. The summer core was the last one, but I found this cool waterfall. I can see myself behind it. The water core didn't take that long. Quickly, I made it back to the lab, placing in each item it needs. All 3 cores. I don't know if the order matters. And the spring core on the right side. After the click of a few buttons, we squished everything together and got this, a green cat. The automatic name was Meower, but I gave it a more creative name. We also made this fiery bird, which I named Rio, and this mouse, which was actually really nice. His name was Boblouse, and I kept it like that. With our elemental seasonal cores, we made 3 new starters, and as a real professor does, we had to give it up to the next generation of real trainers. But we're not done yet. There's another autumn core to still get. But quickly made my way through autumn to find the fire core, swam in the summer to get the water, and to get the grass to cut down this tree in the spring. Quickly, we got everything together to make our own new set of Pokemon. We got classics like Lil Pump, Ace's Chest, and the Hero. Pim. Even though we've already made 6 whole abominations, we're not done, and we have 3 more cores to catch. Quickly, I went to the routes, going to the peak of the winter mountain, the deepest lava cave in the autumn area, and right behind the waterfall in the spring, where we made one last batch, the snow flower bud, the snow tiger manny, and the flying nimbus cloud. Both my bosses were really happy. Our experimental progress has gone through the roof, but we got immediately shut down. This whole process may not be allowed by Pokelaw, and that's it. Pokemon Terrarium. Pokemon, but it's an endless downward dungeon of battles. Welcome to the pit. This is it. You just get sent straight in. And if you keep resetting, you can actually change your sprite, which I think is really, really cool. It's just you and a sign. Welcome to the pit of 100 trials. Very reminiscent of the pit from Paper Mario. And in this bag, we get a random set of 9 Pokemon. You can change the settings, but I keep it pretty much default. The sign says I have to choose a team of 3, and with that, we have to get through 100 battles. For now, I just get this Melmetal, or Ranunculus Homunculus, and a little Celebi on the side. The game says good luck, and I'm sent to the first floor. Just a lone little girl trainer. With everyone being level 1, it wasn't that hard. This big guy follows me. Went down to the next one. This lady had a legendary, but again, not a big problem. Still just level 2s. After every fight, we get some loot, like an elixir and some heals. One by one, with my team of 3, we pack them up. And eventually, we get to floor 5. Or here, I can buy and heal myself, which I obviously do. She sells everything, but I don't have enough money for now. We keep it going. Sometimes our routes have 2 people. It was on floor 7 where we had our first fall. Don's though did the metal. Smacked him back, and we had to revive, so it wasn't too much of a big deal. Slowly, everyone's getting stronger. Got to this piss up from floor 10, but kept trucking from there. Where again, Melmetal was taken out. I really like the UI with this. I speedrun my way to floor 15. And by then, I've already used all my revives. It was at the 17th where I met my match. This old lady and her big head Darmanitan, who just so happened to have triple kick for my steel and X scissor for my psychic. Luckily, we had a Celebi to clean him up, but the Loon had the same bug move I couldn't heal through. And that was the end of my run. 17 out of 100. I like how the face looks though. Next time I'll be Cynthia. And that's it. Pokemon Pit of 100 Trials. Pokemon, but only for elites. Welcome to Elite 18. You get sent straight in, you and a PC, filled to the brim with all the Pokemon you can think of, except for any legendaries. You have a whole staff at your disposal, waiting to customize your team. And ahead, 18 elite trainers, masters at their own typing. There's no healing items or anything in the fights. You have to build up a team, and you can only change it up after 6 wins. Like I said, there's every Pokemon here, Gen 1 through Gen 9. As you can probably tell, I'm not super familiar with newer Pokemon. My team to start was a Heracross, Steelix, Kingdra, Gengar, Electros, and a Skeldridge. I never used this guy, but he seems pretty cool. We had this guy to change up their natures, which I did for all of them. And these guys on the side to change up their movesets. There's everything you can possibly think of. Over here are some hold items, and this lady's got Mega Stones. After a little bit, everything was together. Give my Heracross a Mega Stone. And we finally enter the first fight, the Bug Hunter Zote. And he starts with immediately double Ultra Beast. Again, we don't have access to any of these guys. No legendaries or anything. I Mega Evolved right away and terrorized the Steelix with this really nice animation. Looks super cool now. But they don't even give me a second and smack me down with ice. After fainting their Pheromosa, my Steelix met the same fate. Clearly, I need to make some changes, but we got to see the rest of his team. He Mega Evolved his Scissor, and the Genesect terrorized into water. Them two was more than enough to take out the rest of my team. I ended up switching the moves for Heracross because his ability changes into Skill Link, which makes any multi-hit move hit its max. I give it another try, so did some of the teammates as well. Steelix for a Metagross and his Glossiopod. And this guy gives me a shard, so I made his Terrorization flying. With the new fresh team, we went straight in, but my Glossiopod immediately got smacked out. It actually worked out because the Pheromosa U-turned and sent in a Genesect, and the Skeldridge Heat Wave one-shot him. Sent in the Heracross instead, and his Rock Blast one-shot the Slitherwing. Buzzwole had nothing going for him either. We were left really low, but Pheromosa did it again. Another U-turn, sending in the Scissor, and my Torch Song one-shot him. The elite guy is throwing the game, and although he took out my Skeldridge, the trade was worth it. We won our first elite battle, and immediately gets sent straight into the second. It's the poison type, Seiya. They sent out these 2 monkeys, Monkey Dory and Okie Dokie. Literally have never seen these guys in my life. Luckily, my whole team was healed up, but I didn't know what to do. One by one, they packed me out. And I terrorized the Kingdra, which did a little bit, but the Iron Moth cleared us all. We were kicked out, only making it to the second. I still have a lot to learn. And that's it. Pokemon Elite 18. Pokemon Emerald Rogue like you've never seen before. Welcome to Emerald Rogue 2.0, the roguelike version of Pokemon Emerald where no 2 games are ever the same. You choose the routes as you go forward, and all the Pokemon are randomized, now from Gen 1 to Gen 9. Unfortunately, it is a full facelift, and my old saves do not apply. I had to make a new game, and after getting through some settings, we got to the Professor. Yeah, a little spiel to say, but after we got to our sprite, and oh my, there is so much to customize. Not only were there a ton of bases to pick from, you can change the color of everything. And it's not just changing the color, you are manually setting the tone. It is unreal the amount of customizations possible. I got a pastel yellow hat. Where have you ever seen that? I named myself and my new land. My professor mushed me to his lab. But before we can pick our starter, this backpack lady interrupted. Some Pokemon are invading. We have to stop them. Along the way, we found the lady to start our adventure, but this hub area is massive. We move on to a wild area where we uncover Pokemon just walking around on their own, where you don't walk in the grass. Everything's in the overworld. I didn't recognize this guy. You're just a tumbleweed. I caught him anyway. I didn't realize he'd be my starter. Not bad. I took your boy to the main lady, where we got to our first 2.0 adventure. Where right away, you can tell his stuff different. Now, the routes are color-coded based off their type. And right away, we got some chili. Where it's just amazing that these Pokemon are freely walking around like this. Even if you spam the grass a bunch of times, you won't get an encounter. This is the only way to catch them. In the settings, you can turn off, but I like it. And I got this Frigibax. Usually, we only do one per route, but I couldn't stop myself. Had to scoop up a spiel. We wanted to go forward to the next route, but we found this bug boy. He's hosting a catching contest. We enter, and he says today we're running a steel one. Now, I'm challenged to catch the Pokemon with the highest base HP. And he says if I win, I'll get a special reward. I'm not really sure who to catch, but I immediately went to this guy I didn't recognize. And it's a Varoom. He seemed bigger on the outside, so we left. Skipped this Sliggoo and got an Escavalier. Named it Lelouch. I don't know who else to catch, so we just moved on. When we got to the end, apparently we lost. And surprisingly, it was a Stunfisk. I would have never guessed when we went forward. Where it's a daycare rest stop. Again, I've never been here. But here, it looks like you can buy some berries and drop off a Pokemon. Seems like some kind of insurance for later if you lose too many people. But my team isn't that big, so we don't have a chance to really drop anyone off. And we move on to our first ever gym. The whole area is a little different. Of course, you got the classic Nurse Joy. Only one free heal, and the rest you gotta pay. I love our healthcare system. And this other lady who brings you to the level cap. But besides that, we have our first gym, where it's a Gen 4 Ice Gym Leader, Candice. The sprite that I chose is from Pokemon Platinum, and because of that, all the gym leaders and rivals you gotta follow. But after we win, we can mix them up for a grand 1 through 9 scramble. For this fight, we had to let Lelouch do his thing. My first ever badge. We went on to the next route, and it was a trained Pokemon. I was expecting something nice, but it was just a bunny. It's cool that we can see it in the overworld though. But now we can't shiny hunt in the same way we did before. Kind of unfortunate, but we went back to an old friend, the Battle Prep Rest Stop, where we found an even older friend, the rando man himself, giving me an offer I could never refuse. $1,000 for a single trade, or the whole team for free. I do have enough money, but you know what I must do. I make the trade happen. And now I've got this big tree, a piece of sushi, a furret, and a lit Leo. I don't know who this guy is. The first time I saw his ability, it was really confusing. Commands from doesnt. I had to look up to see what that was. Apparently there's another Pokemon, but I didn't have enough time to think about it because there was someone waiting right at the exit. It was my rival, Barry. He came to stop me right before the next gym leader, and unluckily, he had the ghost for my ghost. The tree was chopped down, and Timber did more than enough to clear the rest. Unfortunately, our first rival fight resulted in our first loss. Barry was too much for me, but you know I'll waste no time, and I'll get right back to it. But for now, that's it. Pokemon Emerald Rogue 2.0. Hey there, are you there for the end? I appreciate you stopping by and watching the video. Let me know if you want more of these. I don't mind making them. I stream and I post on TikTok, so check those out if you want more. But again, I'll try to be more active here. Keep being you. Peace out.